It touches every part of the kitchen. It's nature's perfect food for human consumption, humans. It's been called the cement that holds the castle of cuisine together because it's necessary for a long list of results that you want in your cooking. It's my personal food crush. I just love it. Them. And if you haven't cracked the case yet, then we've got to talk about the single most important food of all today on the Carefree Cook's Code. I'm Chef Todd Moore, and this is the Carefree Cook's Code, every Tuesday live at noon Eastern. Here's our challenge. How can home cooks cook freely with creativity, confidence, and pride while ignoring recipes and still impressing themselves and others with what they cook? Well, the answer is found in becoming empowered with how cooking works, using dependable and repeatable methods of cooking that work for any ingredient, for any diet, and any desire, just like chefs do. And we'll know we've cracked it when everyone sees cooking as an exciting and rewarding way to improve their relationships, their lifestyles, and their health through better food and cooking. This is the Carefree Cook's Code. Hey, welcome back to the Carefree Cook's Code, everyone. This is the free, public, weekly show for the methods, the techniques, the insights into better food and cooking. We don't actually cook on Tuesdays, but we are live every Tuesday at noon Eastern right here on my Chef Todd Moore Facebook page. It's a free class open to the public, so share it, please, with as many people as you'd like. And if you'd like to get a private email reminder of when I'm going live, sign up at webcookingclasses.com/live. And if you want to see what I'm cooking and how I did it, follow Chef Todd Moore on Instagram as well. Nice rack of lamb for Valentine's Day for Heather and I last night with cranberry almond brown rice. It was really, really good. But what everybody's freaking out about on my Instagram page is my Mexi mac and cheese. If you know the process of making a roux, milk for bechamel sauce and a cheese sauce, this is with chorizo sausage, rendering the chorizo, using that fat to make a roux. It's just really, really good. So how do I do it? Well, I'm a carefree cook. I create my own recipes. I bring friends and family together. I learn every time I cook, because I create my own cooking style, because I practice pro methods, and I wind up loving my cooking. So, hey, happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm always thrilled when we get together on a Tuesday. We've been doing this for almost 4 years now, I think, coming up the anniversary. But before we get to the most important food in the world, the one that is the cement that holds the castle of cuisine together, the one that touches every part of the kitchen, I've got a true or false for you today. So tell me in the comments section below, is this statement true or false? The color of an egg is determined by breed of hen and not what the chicken eats. True or false in the comments section below. I'll tell you at the end. So, what is this quote? The cement that holds the castle of cuisine together. It's been attributed to a long list of chefs. Nobody can agree who said it. Sounds like, I don't know, Caramé, Escoffier. Escoffier's usually got those things. But it's something exquisitely simple. That sounded very snotty chef just then, didn't it? For someone who's taught culinary history. Anyway, this thing that we're going to talk about today, unbelievably simple, yet enormously complex. And it just might be nature's perfect food. It is my personal food crush. It's an egg. It's an amazing egg. Eggs are amazing. And today's Carefree Cook's Code is brought to you by Stella's Coop. Stella is raising chickens aren't they cute? On the northern neck of Virginia, organically, with love, under the river sunshine. She's a 13-year-old entrepreneur that people are going to be scrambling to get her eggs first. Not the last egg pun you're going to hear today. Thank you, Stella. Love your eggs. Nature designed the egg as a food source for developing chicks. A blue chicken? Where do you think Easter eggs come from? Blue chickens, of course. Anyway, when the egg is not fertilized, it becomes a food source for human beings. And eggs are perhaps the most versatile food item in the kitchen. They can be served alone. They can be served as an ingredient in another dish. And they always contribute texture, flavor, structure, moisture. Eggs contribute nutrition in everything from soups and sauces to breads and pastries. Eggs, in particular chicken eggs, are an excellent food for humans because of their high protein content, their low cost, and easy availability. A 13-year-old can grow them in the backyard. Easy, right? I have such a serious love affair with eggs that when my doctor told me I had to give up eggs because of my alleged cholesterol issues, I gave up my doctor instead. I didn't love my doctor that much, and I would never forsake the world's most amazing food, the one that is the greatest for human beings, the best for mankind. So here it is, my love affair with an egg. First of all, it's natural, right? A real egg is made in a hen. You can't make them in a factory. Nobody's done it yet. You can't make them out of tofu. This is important because much of the benefit in eggs is the nutritional value that you get from it, the honesty, the integrity of an egg. And the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, they study rates of efficiency with which a protein is used for growth in the human body. They're charged with trying to feed areas that have difficulty growing food. So they want to figure out what the best food is, and they have measured a biological value scale. The UN needs to figure this out so they can figure out how to feed the world. So what do you think some of the most efficient proteins for the human body are? How quickly can the body put this protein to use, building muscles, repairing cells, strengthening synapses, is the question that they pose. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 to 100, with 100 representing the top efficiency of protein in the human body, beef comes in at 74. Bodybuilders and people that want to be on high protein, you always hear they're going to eat a whole bunch of steak. Yeah, they're not doing that great with that. Fish is even better at 76. Cow milk is rated on this efficiency scale at 85, but eggs come in at 93.7, the highest. And for you vegetarians, beans, avocados, soy, rice, they fall well below beef on the scale. So, do you know what this UN Council said? Eggs contain the highest quality protein known. Based on essential amino acids, the egg protein is second only to an infant mother's milk for human nutrition. My students used to giggle in culinary school when I told them that. Yes, breast milk. So let's break this down. Let's talk about the parts of the egg. And the primary parts of the egg are the shell, the yolk, and the albumin. So we'll start on the outside, the shell. The shell is composed of calcium carbonate. And this prevents microbes from entering, prevents moisture from escaping. It's a natural wrapping. It protects the egg during handling and transport. The color has no effect on the quality. The color of the egg does not dictate better nutrition or better flavor. Has nothing to do with that. And that was our true or false today. We're going to get back to that. Let's talk about the yolk. The yolk is the yellow portion of the egg. It constitutes 1/3 of the egg mass, 3/4 of the calories, all of the minerals, most of the vitamins, and 100% of the fat comes from the yolk. The yolk contains lecithin, and this is an emulsifier for mayonnaise, hollandaise sauce, Caesar dressing. This is extremely important to a chef in the kitchen. The yolk coagulates between 149 and 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And the color of the yolk can vary based on the type of feed given the hen. So the color of the yolk has no effect on the quality, the flavor, the nutrition. A duller yolk, a much brighter orange yolk, it has to do with what's fed to the hen. Then you've got the albumin. And this is the clear portion, the white, often referred to as an egg white. This makes up 2/3 of the mass of an egg generally. It contains more than half the protein, but has no fat, fat-free. The albumin coagulates between 144 and 149 degrees. So that's almost 10 degrees Fahrenheit less than the yolk. This is why it's harder to make an egg white omelet. This is why your fried egg, the white around the edges, burns before the yolk does. This is why scrambled eggs cook better than any other kind of egg. Let's go a little deeper. How about the hallase cord? The hallase is this thick, twisted strand that the egg white anchors the yolk in place. The hallase is not an embryo. It's not an imperfection. It is there so that the yolk doesn't smash around inside the egg. It's like bubble wrapping, keeps it in the middle. The more prominent the hallase, though, the fresher the egg. It's one of the first things to degrade. So when you crack an egg that isn't as fresh, it comes out like watery, and the shell, you can just throw it in the trash. A fresh egg, you've got that thing that's like, whoa, it won't let go. So how do you tell a fresh egg from one that isn't as fresh? We'll talk about grading eggs. Eggs are graded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, or a state agency that follows the USDA outlines. And eggs get grades of AA, A, or B. And it's given based on interior and exterior quality, not the size. The bigger the egg, the better the grade is not true. The grade has also no effect on nutritional value. The grade has no effect on how fresh the egg is. And a lot of times it is the ungraded eggs from local people who care about them more than the grading you're going to get from the factory farm. Caveat emptor, educate yourself. So let's talk about a grade AA egg. The egg covers a small area. You crack the egg, it should spread a small area. The albumin is very thick, stands up high. It's very cloudy. The yolk is very firm, stands up very high. The shell is unbroken. The shell is unstained. The shell is clean, and the shell is smooth. That is a grade AA egg. The next one in the middle column here, grade A egg. You crack the egg covers a moderate area. The albumin is a little lower, it's a little more watery. The yolk stands firm, relatively high, and a grade A egg is allowed to have some rough spots on the shell. A grade B egg, on the other hand, spreads like crazy. The albumin is really thin. It's quite watery. The yolk is somewhat flattened and enlarged, and these are not usually the eggs that you can buy in the grocery store. These things wind up in commercial processing. But remember, egg quality, grading, and size are totally different. They're not related. The bigger the egg, the better the egg, no. The higher the grade, the more nutrition, no. The eggs that you have in your house should be selected on the basis of all these characteristics independently, from your own eyes, from what you see, from the people that you know, and hopefully you can get them from a 13-year-old, because those are the best ones. When you're storing eggs, egg quality is quickly diminished by improper handling. A dozen eggs that might be good in your fridge for 3 weeks to a month, when they're stored correctly, they crash very quickly. And as with any item in storage, there are really 3 considerations: air circulation, moisture, and temperature. Eggs should be stored at temperatures below 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4.5 degrees Celsius. Now, the problem with this is your average refrigerator is usually 40 Fahrenheit or above. This means that you should try and store your eggs in the coldest part of your refrigerator. Normally the top right or the top left, where there's a vent that funnels air from your freezer, put your eggs closest to that. Even if you have that egg tray on the door of your refrigerator, you should not store your eggs on the door. It's one of the warmest places in the refrigerator. So those eggs that might have lasted 3 weeks, they can spoil in 1/3 of the time if the temperature is just a few degrees higher than that 40 or 4.5 degrees Celsius. Eggs are going to age much more quickly at warmer temperatures. And also keep in mind, eggs absorb smells. That shell brings on a smell and holds onto it. So they should always be stored away from stronger foods and perhaps in an airtight container. Don't store them with like a half-cut onion. It'll start to smell like the onion. Eggs don't need air circulation. They don't dry out. They don't take on moisture, so they don't get soggy. So they can store themselves very well because of that shell, but keep them away from chopped garlic, onions, leftover Indian food, very aromatic spices. And lastly, never use dirty eggs. Never use a cracked egg, a broken egg, as they can quickly take on bacteria, other contaminants, as soon as that shell is split. And if the built-in storage mechanism, the shell, that is, what other food has this protective barrier, right? If it's broken or cracked, it becomes a potentially dangerous food very quickly. And lastly, understand, and there have been so many quotes about eggs by so many chefs, we don't even know what chef said it anymore, right? But they truly are the king of the kitchen because they touch every single part of cooking and baking, and this is why I have such a love affair with an egg. Eggs, if you think about it, they bind. When you make a meatloaf, a lasagna, you're making croquettes, you're in so much of baking, pâte à choux, éclair paste, eggs, that it binds everything together. Speaking of baking, eggs leaven. Baked goods, the protein web that an egg creates, and then the moisture, the steam trying to evaporate, it leavens your baked goods, your soufflés, angel food cake. Think about white whipped eggs. Think about creams and frostings, and eggs thicken. Make a custard, a zabaglione, a mousse is made with eggs. It thickens sauces as well. Eggs emulsify. You would not have mayonnaise. You would not have Caesar dressing. You wouldn't have hollandaise sauce without an egg yolk. Eggs coat and glaze. Cookies and breads can get an egg wash on them. Eggs clarify. Probably only if you went to culinary school did you ever make consommé. But an egg white and ground meat raft filters a stock and makes it perfectly clear. If you've ever been to like fancy French restaurant, you get this clear bowl that looks like water and it tastes incredible. It clarifies soups, consommé, egg whites do. Egg whites inhibit crystallization. If you're a candy maker, egg whites help you in boiled candies and frostings and buttercreams. Eggs garnish. Chop up egg whites, chop up egg yolks, put it on your salad, sprinkle it around. I mean, I challenge you to find any other food that does so much for cooking, that does so much for the human body, that remains relatively cheap, that is readily available. You can't do it. Not even the United Nations Board of blah, blah, blah can come up with something better than an egg. Eggs are nature's perfect food, and they are the cement that holds the castle of cuisine together. And lastly, by the way, do you know how to separate two eggs? Great joke, right? Get it? You separate two. It kills at the chef convention. I don't know. Look, an absolute necessary part of you moving your own carefree cooking journey forward is a healthy respect and an understanding for all the things that eggs do in the kitchen, all the things that eggs do for your body. Your baking results will be twice as good. Your icings and frostings step up to a pro level. Your sauces take on a whole new dimension when you know how to use the proteins in eggs. Because an egg isn't just the cement that holds the castle of cuisine together. It's the king of cuisine. It is something we cannot do without. So let's get back to the true or false for today. The color of an egg is determined by the breed of hen, not what the chicken eats. That's absolutely true. The yolk color is what can change because of what they eat. Corn makes a very bright yellow yolk. I hear from farmers that fruit, melons and things like that give it a bright yolk, but the shell color is only because of the breed. Hey, do you know someone whose castle of cuisine might be crumbling around them? Maybe you could introduce them to the cement that might put their castle back together again. Please share this video with your friends. And if you've been struggling, if you've been kind of stuck in a rut with the same meals and limited variety, then you're going to love this week's free online class because it combines the step-by-step methods with the creative ideas to get your juices flowing. The class is called the Meal Multiplier Formula to Get Dinner Done. And it's where I share my 6-element formula for inventing meals on the fly. You can choose from the upcoming class times at webcookingclasses.com/multiply. So until next Tuesday, where we take even more steps toward breaking the Carefree Cooks Code, this is Chef Todd Moore reminding you that there's a method to unscrambling your cooking success.